Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video, and today is my last layout for my Helen, Georgia camping trip with Marcus. So I have a couple photos from Oktoberfest. I think I mentioned it in a previous Helen, Georgia layout process video, but we went in September intentionally, so we weren't there during the crowded Oktoberfest time without knowing that Oktoberfest actually starts in September. So it was a pleasant surprise. We always kind of wanted to go to Helen during Oktoberfest. We were just trying to miss the crowd. But it was a pleasant surprise that we got to participate anyways. So there's a lot of artists that came in and set up tents. I always love going to these kind of local art shows, so I really wanted to document this. I decided to go back to, using two colors from this collection. I loved the mustard paper in this Carefree collection by Heidi Swap, and I really wanted to pull in some green with this yellow. There's a lot of green and yellow in my photos, so I thought I went perfectly. And I'm using three 4x6 photos. So this is another one where I kind of have a horizontal and a landscape, which are kind of always a pain to design around. So this is my take on kind of trying to use those together. It kind of worked out well because there was enough photo to really block out a lot of the paper space. So I was really able to block together and piece together my background and save a lot of this paper. There's a huge, most of the 12 by 12 of this mustard I'm actually saving by only using the strip on the top and bottom here. And then I'm taking this very cool green 6 by 8 and stretching that horizontally across the middle there. And the rest of this black background I'm kind of gluing everything down on is going to be covered by photos. So it's kind of annoying to get it all pieced together, but it's worth it in the end because I have so much of this pretty paper left over that I can use on a future project. So I'm just kind of working on my little puzzle piece here. I end up gluing down this green 6 by 8 and then realizing that there's still a huge chunk of that large scrap to the right there that's covered by this vertical 4 by 6. So I do end up pulling that off and gutting that as well. So yeah, that was really satisfying. I always like seeing a page come together in which I didn't have to use a lot of my pretty paper. So I'm getting this glued down. I think this 6 by 8 is so cool. It's green, but it kind of has the shadow of this frond leaf, and I think that's really cool. And I think this yellow and this green look so nice together, especially with these photos. That vertical photo is a woodworker who carves sculptures out of tree trunks, and so I just have so he's working in the background in that tent if you can see him doing it live in front of us, but there's also a bunch of his works, mainly his bear statues that I have in frame too, so I can kind of remember that. That was really cool to watch him carve. He just carves with a chainsaw, and I think that's awesome. To the left I have a photo of just the pathway with a bunch of the tents lining it, and then Marcus found a little dog friend of a little chow chow. And actually that chow's coat, its fur, is like the perfect mustard color to go with my yellow paper. So that worked out really well. But I went ahead and just matted all of my photos on white. I have my background pieced together now, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this all down. And from here, I just need to figure out where I want to do my embellishment clusters. I know I'm probably going to do my clusters in opposite corners just so it's framing all of my photos. And I'm thinking already my title will probably go above this vertical 4 by 6 just because I have that little gap there on that green. I think it'll sit nicely there. But I was kind of feeling like there was an awkward transition from the yellow to the green the way I pieced it together. Not so much on the top, but on the bottom for some reason I wanted some vertical pieces to kind of cover that seam. So I went ahead and used a branding strip of one of the green pattern papers. I think that looks really cool. And now I'm going to start on my clusters. You can see to the left there, I pretty much already pulled out everything in my green and yellow color scheme. So I went ahead and put all of the blue and pink and other colors in this collection off to the side so I don't get distracted. I really like this tag here that is green and yellow. I'm thinking it'll be tucking in to behind that photo in that cluster, and you can see that a part of that tag is going to be covered by the photo, so I'll end up trimming that and using that in a separate cluster. But before I get too far, I already know I want to call this Oktoberfest. I already know I want to use these really cool green puffy stickers, so I'm going to go ahead and pull out my title just so I can see spacing wise, is it going to work where I want it to work? Do I want to incorporate it into one of my clusters? I really like doing this when I know my title ahead of time, just because if I can pull it out, it really helps me design-wise figuring out the rest of the page. So I kind of spaced that out. I figured, yep, it looks good where I'm planning to put it down on. I'm not going to glue it down yet, just in case I do decide to incorporate more layers behind where my title's going to sit. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and start working on my 2 clusters. So like I said, I just trimmed the bottom part of that tag. It's a really nice journaling spot, but it's also a good background for an embellishment cluster. So you can see I pulled the bottom part of that tag to the lower right-hand corner of the page, and I'm just going to have those 2 pieces of the tag be the start of my clusters, and from here I'm just going to layer up a couple things. So that tag is obviously yellow, so I went ahead and added a couple green things right away because I really want to pull out this green and yellow color scheme. And then from here, I'm going through the sticker sheet and kind of pulling out a couple of the stickers I know I really want to use, just so I have it all in front of me and I don't have to keep flipping through the book to find them. I usually don't like to do that because if I don't use these stickers, they never really stick back down to the sticker sheet like nicely. But because those stickers came out of the book, even if they don't stick down completely, they're within a book that's closed, so they shouldn't fall out. I'm gonna try to get them used up though, so I just don't have to worry about it. But the past couple pages I've done with this collection, I've used doilies in a glassine bag. I've really enjoyed how that's looking, so I'm just gonna continue that theme. I really wanted some lighter, whiter, airier elements just to break up all the yellow and the green. I really think adding that white really helps, so I'm going to just glue down this glassine bag and this doily. And that's going to be the backing of that cluster. But I'm pleased with what I have so far. The twine that comes in this tag set, there's a yellow twine, so I'm just trimming a piece of that for my tag. And I'm going to go ahead and get this cluster glued down. I know there's more I'm going to add, but I'm really liking how it's looking so far, so I'm going to go ahead and get things glued down. I'm trying to remember, I want to definitely get some labels used up on this page because there's so many nice color coordinating labels in this collection, and I definitely want to try and pull in some more rub-ons. I'm really going to try and use the rub-ons on every page this month, so I'm trying to remind myself as I'm working not to forget about those. Here are the labels, so I'm going to go ahead and pull in a couple. There's some word stickers on that one. There's a green one that says enjoy the now. I thought that was perfect. But I also have that label sheet sitting next to me, so I can kind of remember to use those labels. Again, I'm definitely going to go for either green or yellow, so that kind of makes it easier. This is kind of where I'm at so far. I'm liking how that cluster at the top's coming. I know I want to add more, but I figured since I've got part way on that cluster, I want to start working on the smaller cluster just so I can kind of keep them both balanced as I work. Since I added that doily to the top, I had a little piece left over, and I thought it would be a nice little touch just to have a little bit of that showing at the bottom too, just so that texture is across the page. So I'm going to go ahead and tuck that down and glue down my little journaling spot. And then I have this cute little unplug piece from the die cut pack, so I'm popping that up on some foam. I think it looks really nice down there, but I'm planning on there being a label or something under it, so I'm not going to glue it down just yet. I think this is where I'm going in for my labels. I think I'm pulling a green one out, yep, to go under that unplug. I think that looks so cute with that little unplug sitting on the label. Just adds another layer, another detail. And then at the top here, I decided to pull in a label behind this green sticker, and I wanted that label to be green. I don't think I pull it in yet though. But I went ahead and decided I'm liking how these 2 clusters are coming. I really don't want to add a third cluster because I think these 2 already frame the page nicely. There's a lot of photo on this page, so I don't want it to get too distracting by adding too much embellishment wise. I really want to focus my embellishment within these 2 clusters I've already started. So I'm going to go ahead and glue down my title. I want to keep that part pretty simple, and I love this outfit. I love how skinny and tall it is, but it fits perfectly there. And then now that I have my titles down, I'm going to continue with my clusters. So because I did add this green word sticker at the top, I found a green word sticker that said slow down and enjoy. So I cut it into 2 pieces and put that within my journaling spot on the bottom. I really don't have a whole lot I need to say about this, and so I didn't really need the journaling spot. I am going to journal on this page, but not in that little block. So I went ahead and just used it for decorating. And then this is where I went ahead and decided to use the rub-ons. So one of the sheets has a bunch of really cool looking distressed tickets, and a couple of them were green. So I thought that was perfect. I went ahead and pulled in one of the tickets into each cluster. So I'm just going to rub those both on. I think those look so cool. I just love what those add to the page. And then you can also see in my little dish to the left there 2 of those heartwood veneers. So my last 2 heartwood veneers, but because of that yellow color and because there's literal wood art in one of the photos, I thought it would be great to go on this page. So I know for sure I'm going to have one of those heartwood veneers in each of these clusters too. But while I'm working with the rub-ons, I am going for one of those skinny strips. So I went for the yellow, hoping it would show up a little more. It turned out more tan looking on this darker green background, which still ended up working nicely with the more neutral tones of the wood. But I did go ahead and add that in a couple places just for more layers and more texture. And then this is where I went ahead and added those heartwood veneers. I think those look so cute. I'm going to glue them down right away. I know those are going to stay. I knew those heartwood veneer were not going to last long this month. As soon as I saw them in the kit, I was like, yep, I love those. They're getting used up right away. I'm not too worried about that because there's a lot of cool details that are in this kit. There's some really cool paper clips still. There's really cool crocheted florals that I'm kind of hoarding temporarily. But since I am hoarding those, I'm like, go ahead and use the wood veneer. You like it, just use it. So that's my goal so far. And then as I'm working, I kind of just feeling the paper layers are a little too plain. I kind of want them to be plain on this page and make it more about these 2 clusters. But I did have some scraps of this polka dot I used on a previous page, and it was the perfect size just to tuck into either side of these photos. And I think that little extra detail, that little extra layer really helps. So I'm going to go ahead and get those used up. And then this is where I'm pulling in a yellow label. There is a circular one that fit perfectly around the curve of the doily. And so I tucked it in right there behind my little green word sticker. I think that looks super cute. So another label I got used up. And then I decided I wanted a little bit more detail on the bottom because I do have this pretty doily detail around the page. I really wanted to use a scallop border punch. So I am just going to do my little scallop border punch on this branding strip and tuck that up under the green branding strip just so there's also a white scallop detail on the bottom of the page to kind of reference the doily at the top. So I really like how that looks too. And again, using another branding strip, I always really get excited when I get to use branding strips on pages just because a lot of times they go in the garbage, and I always feel really satisfied when I get to use something that might get thrown away otherwise and it become a cool element on the page. So I'm just going to tuck that underneath there. I think that adds a lot too. I really love doing scallop border punch when things are looking a little bit too straight, a little bit too plain. I think it adds the perfect little detail. So that's going to get stuck down there. I think we are almost done. I know I want to use some enamel shapes I'm pretty sure I pull in for finishing touch, and I still want to do a little bit of journaling too, so I just can't remember which one I did first. Enamel dots. Okay, so I have these really cool mustard shaped ones. I had a couple of stars left over and a couple of the circles, so I went ahead and just used them all on this page. I really wanted to use this mustard enamel dot. I think it looks so perfect here. So I'm just scattering them between my clusters and getting the stars used up and just the rest of the circles. And I think those add a really fun element too. And then I think I do my journaling next. So with this cool rub-on on the right side of the page and the scallop detail on the bottom, I thought it would be cool to do my kind of journaling in white along the left side of the page, just so it's all kind of framing my photos. So that's what I end up doing. I just take my white gel pen and I'm going to do my journaling up the left side of those 2 horizontal photos. And all it says is, since we visited in September, we were pleasantly surprised to experience Oktoberfest with a little doodly heart. But I'm pretty sure that's it. So this was a lot of fun doing this page. More photos, still kind of hoarding the paper, but I love doing this kind of 2 color scheme thing. So hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.